Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My respected teachers, parents, students, administrators, everybody. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's an honor to be here, my beautiful brothers and sisters who are the graduating class, our 14 brothers and sisters, mashallah, it's a blessing. I didn't imagine 5 years ago WISE did not exist. And today we are talking about establishing, one of the best schools, inshallah, in decades to come. As you know, when Harvard started in Boston, there were only 6 students. Today, it's an iconic institution that really impacts the future of societies. And we have to dream big, as we say. We have to shoot for the moon, and hopefully we'll be among the stars. So it's a blessing, really, to be here, to have this event, this graduation for 2017, and I flew all the way from Australia just to be here. Now, of course, as you know, my town, my community is Dearborn. I'm committed to this community, number one, over every community in the world. I feel enormously blessed to have this opportunity to work with our community, and I think we resonate together and we agree that Allah has placed us on this earth for a limited period of time, and the objective in our existence on this earth is to be promoters of good and forbidders of evil. And here, when we're talking about promoters of good, I'm talking about strategic good, not just preaching on a pulpit and talking about goodness and not knowing how to execute. I think ideas are great, but the power to execute requires a great degree of acumen with which to be able to execute it flawlessly, and with that we accomplish the intended goals. So within this span of time that I have to speak, I want to share some of the vision that we have at WISE and to set the foundation of why all this project is taking place. As you know, our generations have to get educated, and I truly believe, as David Turfa, who had come before, Honorable David Turfa, who had come 2 years ago, and he mentioned something very profound which has stuck with me for a while, when he stated that, look, I'm a judge, I'm an attorney, I'm a judge, I'm an elected judge in a prestigious community. But he gives credit to his success due to high school. He says the universities were good, but it's the high school that sets the foundation for the future of a child. And he gives credit to that, and I totally concur with him, that it's the high school that sets the foundation of morals, that the next generation, which is this graduating class, is now going to higher education, inshallah, and to achieve their specializations in society. So what is this foundation? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as you know, in this blessed month of Rajab and Sha'ban, Mab'ath just took place, and Mab'ath is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the Prophet to declare his prophetic mission in public. He was born a prophet, but his declaration in public came at the age of 40. So up to the age of 40, he was relatively silent as a prophet. And the reason he was silent was because he was establishing the principles of Islam, not on the basis of titles and on the basis of speech, but rather on the basis of action. Because Islam is a religion of action, because actions speak louder than words. And the messenger's action that set the foundation was his integrity. When he stood on the mountain of Jabal Abu Qubais and he asked the people, he said, who am I? He says, you are Muhammad, son of Abdullah. He said, if I tell you there is a caravan behind this mountain, will you believe me? And these pagans who worshipped idols, and what the Holy Prophet was going to declare was the antithesis to their principal belief, which was idolatry. And he asked them that profound question, that if I tell you there is a caravan behind this mountain, will you believe me? They said, yes, anta sadiqul ameen. You are truthful, you are trustworthy. And I believe that's the foundation of Islam. Truthful, trustworthy. But on what grounds? It's built on the foundation of knowledge. For the greatest gift Allah gave us besides our existence is our intellect. our power to understand, and the power to absorb knowledge infinitely. This brain is capable of absorbing infinite amount of information. It's that adaptive. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves His creation that's intelligent, that acquires knowledge. The Prophet says, "Utlub al-ilm min al-mahdi lal-lahd." Acquire knowledge from the cradle to the grave. And the Quran begins its presentation to the public through Surah Al-Alaq. As you know, the 96th chapter was the first verse revealed to the Prophet to be delivered to the people. So I want to emphasize, the foundation of education is not only a little bleep on the radar that you and I should pat each other on the back and say, oh wow, we've done a great thing. I think it's the foundation of all foundations. There is nothing more profound than good education. Today the world is in chaos because of ignorance, because of lack of education. Our youth are indulging in drugs and in illicit kind of they're imbibing in all kinds of hallucinogenic substances because they're confused. They're lacking knowledge. They're lacking understanding. And sometimes I don't blame them. I don't blame society for being ignorant. I believe we have to create pathways to distribute knowledge. We have to create highways. We have to create institutions where children and adults can readily access information that's essential to guide them for the next life and in this world. And often we're busy not doing that. And therefore, we have this clogged system where the generations are growing old, recycling Hollywood style, feeding the refrigerator, and the refrigerator feeds them. And we're very fad-based societies where our knowledge base is very basic, which leads to apathy, which leads to confusion. So you find that the Messenger ﷺ was commanded, when he was told, Jibreel says to him, "Iqra, bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, khalaq al-insana min alaq." Read in the name of your Lord, of thy Lord who creates. This is the first fi'l al-amal, the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Holy Prophet as the foundation of all foundations, as the first commencement of humanity is Iqra, read, recite. Allah says, "Iqra wa rabbuka al-akram." God is saying, when you acquire knowledge, I will be generous to you. So true. Nothing is more empowering than knowledge. Nothing. We admire human beings because they're knowledgeable. We have this very fad society where we gauge each other based on outward looks, and outward looks are very important. Very important. But they're surface. The most beautiful possession that human being has, or any being, not even human, any creature in the universe, is an intelligent being. Intelligence is the most beautiful possession we have. Intelligence loaded with knowledge, having the capacity to choose the kind of knowledge which is wisdom, knowing where to place knowledge where it belongs and how to utilize it effectively, is the most magnificent possession you and I have. And we need to nurture it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us that if we do not nurture this education and this power, the capacity of intellect, then there is only one alternative, which is destruction. The Messenger has stated to us that the most destructive element in society is ignorance. And you must counter it. The only way to counter it is with good education. I'm a strong believer. When we started WISE 5 years ago, some people were looking at me and says, "Really? You have this dream?" I said, "Yeah, we have a dream." And I must give credit today to Brother Hussein Sharara, who's here. As you know, he's really my right hand while I'm not here. Sister Summer, mashallah, fantastic, administrator, Sister Reem, the whole team, subhanallah, you're all wonderful. You're a blessing. Honestly, I can't speak enough. And I cannot thank Allah enough for allowing me to be part of a society and a community of very, very dedicated, good people. But Hussein is the one who really pushed me. When I came to Dearborn 10 years ago, he kept nudging me, "Hajj, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, hold on." He said, "No, the community needs something." And his concern was that, look, these youth, if we don't do something for them, we're going to lose them. And we've got to start somewhere. I said, I know. I've been involved with youth for 25 years. I know, I feel the pain. And I despise when I hear a story of a child indulging in drugs or having left the faith of Allah or, being destructive or just being a recalcitrant child in society. Bothers me. Especially people like us. We're special people. Not sounding arrogant here, but we're blessed. We're chosen people. I always say that. Allah has placed us strategically in a very, very beautiful country, the United States. This country is one of the best countries in the world. Okay? And I'm saying it not to please America. The opportunities this country has to offer is second to none. I travel the world. I put 500,000 kilometers a year. In every country I go to, I say there's no country better than the United States. The infrastructure, the potentials, the thinking, the lifestyle is just superior to every country I've traveled, even Australia. Australia is nowhere near, in my opinion, to what the United States is, with due respect. This country is a blessing, but it saddens me. Deep down I say we are blessed. Children out on the street starving. Our kids can open up laptops, can open up iPads, can communicate with all kinds of toys. And yet our kids are indulging in drugs. They're indulging in indecent behavior. They're destructive within their homes. They're confused. I don't blame anybody. Something in my head says, well, you're also part of that. And if you're not the solution, you are the problem. And God has blessed you with many capabilities. What are you doing? So 5 years ago when we launched, it was your youth, people like you, parents, who believed in us. We rented a facility, a small 12,000 square foot space, but we were believers. And I remember before I took that step, I had my mother, I said to my mother, open the Quran and ask Allah, I know this is barakah, but oh Allah, confirm, because this is going to be a lifelong move now. Once we take that step, there is no pulling back. Once you start the momentum for education for children, there is no pulling back. Because pulling back is like cutting the jugular. And the ayah that came out was from Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Allah said, يَطُوفُ عَلَيْهِمْ وِلْدَانٌ مُخَلَّدُونَ. This is the ayah that came out. Where Allah says, you will see youth never aging. يَطُوفُ عَلَيْهِمْ وِلْدَانٌ مُخَلَّدُونَ. Allah is talking about paradise, that when we enter paradise, inshallah, the inhabitants there will be youth who will never age. And it's a magnificent description of constant vigor and growth and a fountain of youth, It's magnificent. And I had a smile on my face. I said, SubhanAllah, Allah has spoken, enough. Allah has put that seal and says, how dare you think any other way? In yansurukum Allah, fala ghaliba lakum. Wa in yakhdhulkum, faman dhal ladhi yansurukum min ba'd. When God helps you, who can defeat you? And when He doesn't help you, who else is there to help you? Allah asks us this question in the Quran. So when we launched 5 years ago, we just started as an after-school program. And I remember we were dreaming. I said, if we start this project, and we carefully monitored, we knew what the problem was. The problem was children were getting lost after school. And lots of studies, even Harvard did studies, that extracurricular activities, especially in the after-school market, saves a child's education. It gives them focus. And plenty of research shows that children perform better when they get involved in extracurricular activities. We said, what better than to start there? And we were dreaming, we said, let's take this space, $100,000 investment. I called the directors, some of the board members, I said, what do you think? They said, what's $100,000? Let's put it, even if we fail, it's a good step that's going to hopefully do something good. And look how Allah spoke to us. We were projecting 6 months to fill up that space. 6 months. We said we have 180 kids that can be put in. In 6 months, inshallah, we will reach our goal. Allah is my witness. By the second week, we had reached 180 kids, and we had a waiting list of 200 kids. 200 kids above the 180. That's how I started. This was Allah telling us, you take this step and focus on it. And don't think you're small. You can challenge the Harvards of the world. Because at the end of the day, what's lacking within our educational institutions today is that foundation of Iqra, Bismi Rabbika alladhi khalaq. The impetus of education that brings about a moral, upright individual, the one Allah says in the Quran, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. You are the best in the community, the ones who promote good, forbid evil, and believe in Allah. Our education institutions today are wonderful around the world, especially in this country. But when you go deep into it, this conversation about purpose and vision of why Allah created us. And when I do get my doctorate degree, and when I do become very successful financially, and I do become a leader in society, what's the goal at the end of the day that's going to be perpetual, that's going to be everlasting and living, the ones that you will leave behind as a legacy for the world to benefit from? I believe that is which is most lacking today. Hence we have such leaderships today of presidents who are borderline psychotics, right? Who do terrible things, even to women. You find Bill O'Reilly, the O'Reilly factor. The man was a monster. For 13 years, nobody could touch him. And billions of dollars. The Murdochs are collecting billions of dollars. And we're patting them, and everybody's patting them on the back. Congratulations for being number one. For so many, for hundreds of months. Congratulations. What is their moral stance? Just nothing but lies, fabrications, condescending attitude, destruction. And that's the world that we live in today. And if you look, so many women suffered. Up to in tens of millions of dollars Fox had to pay to kick this guy out. Right? Now, he's a good talker. He's educated. But is he a role model? He's destructive. And if our society doesn't counter that kind of thinking, then there's an army of people like Bill O'Reillys and the Sean Hannitys who do nothing but confuse us. Allah says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَيَتَّخِذَهَا هُزُوًا أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِ آيَاتُنَا وَاللَّهُ مُسْتَكْبِرًا كَأَن لَّمْ يَسْمَعْهَا كَأَنَّ فِي أُذُنَيْهِ وَقْرًا. That's a society that has been created. When God says among mankind, there are those who create frivolous talk to take people away from the path of God. Now you and I may think, what is important about this path of God? With due respect, I think even our Muslim community has forgotten Allah. Islam is the opium. Religion is the opium of the masses. We just do our recycles and then we just forget it. Thinking God has stamped this approval that because I stamp myself a Muslim, that Jannah is wajib on me. If I'm a Christian, paradise is wajib on me. If I'm a Jew, paradise is wajib on me. And then, which is okay. But the problem is, I'm a Muslim, paradise is wajib, and everybody else, hell is wajib. This myopia of trying to traverse through a complicated world in which we preach hatred, we preach ignorance, we between our tongues lie, we have to stop that. People say, how are you going to stop it? Grassroots. It's this generation. These youth I'm looking at, you might think, look, they're, sometimes they pay attention, sometimes they don't pay. No. I'm a firm believer. Every sentence our teachers speak. And look, they're paid tribute to them. Then while in class, those teachers are sweating, thinking, is this child going to understand me? But when it comes to the moment of graduation, here's Brother Mahdi Husseini recognizes Sister Dina. She's shocked. Yeah, you're shocked, you know why? Because we don't take it, we think it's not important, but it is. That little salam, that little smile. Brother Mahdi, when you came, I remember, you were saying, like you mentioned, I don't want to be at Wise. I looked at you, I said, I don't blame him. He's been given a different vision in life. And he wants to fit that vision. And our institution necessarily doesn't fit that vision. But the mother's steadfastness, I looked at her, and I remember she looked at me, she said, don't worry. He's my son. I know what to do with him. Look, you're graduating, mashallah. We're proud of you. We're proud of every one of you here. You're a blessing. My dream is to see you tomorrow as successful individuals. Successful monetarily, successful academically, but successful most morally. then it will be a testament to the vision of WISE. You and I have to be impeccable in education. Our capacity to speak, our vocabulary. I speak in academic institutions. I speak around the world. And I realize when I stand on the podium, the world is watching. Who is this person? Is this person educated? Can they traverse complicated matters and make sense out of it? Can they elucidate complicated matters? Yes, we can. We're truly blessed. We're blessed with prophets. We're blessed with Quran. We're blessed with Ahlul Bayt. We have the finest institutions in the world. Not even Harvard, not Yale, nobody combined can equal what Allah has given us. إِنِّي تَارِكٌ فِيكُمُ الثَّقَلَيْنِ كِتَابُ اللَّهِ وَإِتْرَةِ أَهْلِ بَيْتِهِ. صلوات الله محمد وعلى محمد. Brothers and sisters, I won't take too much of your time. I feel very honored to be here. I'm stunned. Honestly, 10 years ago, just a quick example, we had no investments, zero. We bought the camp 10 years ago in Lapeer, Michigan, 10 years ago. Today, combined between the camp and all our projects with WISE, we're close to $30 million in investments. $30 million in 10 years. You might say, what? Is that a lot of money? Brother Hassanain, where are you getting this money from? Does it make a difference? It's our sweat money. We earn it. We put our money in it. We don't have a tree where we pluck dollars out of from a branch. We're believers. You're believers. You as parents who put your children in our homeschooling when we started the homeschooling, because we figured that facility we rented was being utilized in the afternoon, why not use it in the morning? And parents said, yes, we'll bring our children. So we don't have the authorizations to run a school yet, but if you come in as parents and work with us, they said, yes, we believe in you. And we said, we'll charge you a nominal fee. We believe in you. And you trusted us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah does not change the affairs of a community until the community changes themselves first. I look back and I said, 10 years ago we had zero investments. Today we are 30 million. Our projections in 10 years will be 100 million. And that's nothing. If we own that entire region of WISE, the new building that we're building, it's nothing. In my opinion, it's a blessing, but the real accomplishment is not in a building. If I spend $1 billion, I don't consider it an accomplishment. I know groups that spend much more than that. The accomplishment is when a child comes out of these institutions moral, does not cheat and lie, has a broad vision, inclusive. We're not exclusive. I believe the closer we get to Allah, the more inclusive we need to become, the more accepting we need to become, the more we should see Christians, Jews, atheists, agnostics as part of the fabric of society, let alone Sunni and Shia. I speak in places where people stand up and they raise their hands and say, no, Sunnis are going to hell. We Shias are going to paradise. I stand in other places, no, you Shias are going to hell. I said, what's wrong with us as a human race? Oh, I'm special. I'm very close to God. I said, that's not specialty, that's myopia. That's madness. The closer you get to Allah, the more inclusive you need to become, the more loving and caring you need to become. But there's a catch. See, to become inclusive, you and I have to be broad-minded. Because remember, myopia is closed-minded. Broad-minded is hikmah. يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَةَ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. To have broad-mindedness, you need to have capacity to understand the dynamics of diversity in society. And I'm hoping WISE becomes that institution. It is. And you, as the future generations, will bear allegiance in the testament that we went to this school. Other people were mocking at us. What is this new school you're attending? Doesn't matter. There's a vision. There's a belief. And you and I will always be together as a family. I always believe in this. And Allah has blessed me with this opportunity to be able to do what we're doing. We bought this place. It was a miracle. We bought it for cash. People said, cash? $1.6 million. Yeah, we've already spent close to $3.5 million. We're going to spend another $4 million on this facility. We're going to make it a state-of-the-art facility. I remember when we were talking about it 4 years ago, when Sister Summer was there, really, Hajj we're going to spend 10 million. I said, yeah. Hajj, do we have? I said, don't worry. The vision is there. My vision is not grand buildings. My vision is youth, brothers and sisters, parents, talking the language of Allah, which is what? Inclusion, love, wisdom, hikmah, talking with knowledge, where we know what to say, where the world is looking at us as, who are you? Where did you come from? With due respect, I just met a pastor in Houston, Texas, a very renowned pastor. He works with Joel Osteen, very, very high profile. I'm talking to his executives. The guy stops, he says, excuse me, Mr. Rajabali, stop. Who are you? Where did you come from? How come we've never heard of you? He says, what you're telling us is totally different from what we know in the world. How come no one's told us this? And I smiled, I said, well, we're here, let's talk. But if people of that caliber can recognize the little that we have, this is what the goal in life is. But we cannot achieve it. We can complain, we can say that the world is bad, we can say those people of other religions are bad, we can say our people are bad. Allah says, okay, stop complaining. What are you doing? To me, standing here today in this graduating class, is that moment where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling me, don't ever, ever قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا. Never lose hope in the mercy of Allah. And here you are. And I want to thank you, the parents especially. While we send out tuitions to you, it's not that easy, I realize that. But the investment factor for education, especially in high school, is priceless. I was in California, I went to the Athenia schools, and I asked them, what do the students pay? They said $38,000 a year is their tuition in high school. $38,000. And there's a waiting list. They've got Chinese children waiting in line to get into that school. I said, $38,000, that's too high. They said, no, it's nothing. He says, go talk to the parents. They'll tell you even $100,000 is worth the investment, because that's the future of their children, who are then going to net millions of dollars tomorrow, because that's the investment value. So yes, while we charge these nominal fees, if we do not, how do we sustain? How do we elevate? How do we take it? But put that aside. It's the fact that you believe in it. It's the fact that you struggle with it and say, no, the future of our children is priority. And I want to thank you for that. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for believing in us. And I certainly believe in you. As a brother, I know Brother Hussein does, Sister Sama, Sister Reem, we believe in you as parents. You are priority to us. Your children are the greatest amana given upon us by you. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we do much better work tomorrow. We have a lot of room for improvement. Our programs can improve dramatically in so many ways, but we've got to start somewhere. And I'm very, very pleased and I'm grateful to Allah where we are today. And inshallah we'll be much better tomorrow. But this graduating class will have that seal under their belt to say, I am a student of WISE, I'm a graduate of WISE. And I'm a believer strongly that I'd like WISE to be one of the finest schools in America, if not the world. And I'm a believer in that. I travel, I go to academic institutions, I meet pundits, and I try to figure out what makes them different. Why can't we institute that? And sometimes, often, when I find out the solution to why they're successful, I smile. I said, I read that hadith. I read this ayah in the Quran. God already told us this. These people are putting it in action. We're just reciting it. They've put it in action. So Allah says, now you see how it's working? Now you go put it in action. And see how wonderful you will be tomorrow, where the world will talk about your institution, not because for us to be proud, but because we're going to bring great future leaders that are really, inshallah, going to eradicate this hatred. They're going to bring focus and vision and reduce the damage within our societies and take our next generations to much higher stages. While we're gone from this world, we leave behind something that is going to be wonderful. So let's not forget the driving force, acquisition of knowledge for the pleasure of Allah. Because when you and I are learned, we become patient, we become inclusive, we become caring, we become sharing, we become loving, we become giving, we become forgiving. May Allah give us the tawfiq, inshallah, to continue to do this great work. I thank the teachers for the fantastic work that you're doing. Keep up the excellent work. In conclusion, I'm here. I'm not going, in fact, I'm downsizing a lot of the projects I'm doing to make sure I focus here. But I travel the world, and I feel blessed to have that opportunity. My heart is here. I just want you to know that the world out there is not, it's an amazing world, but it's very sad how much hatred, how much ignorance, how much closed-mindedness is present in societies. It's very sad. Just a quick final point. I just came from the Philippines recently. As you know, I'm quite active in the Philippines, working with a lot of the youth there. And yet just this morning, somebody sent a package to a group of our brothers in Manila, and there was a grenade in it, and it blew up. And the very brother that I met 4 months ago just died this morning. The bomb blew up on his face, and he's dead. And I got the picture, and it just made my heart stop. And I was about to cry, and I contained myself. And I was thinking, why? Why would anybody do this? Hatred. Hatred. Just constant hatred. Where there's this perpetual preaching of hate in the name of God. Just doesn't make sense. People holding guns, shooting, killing, stealing, cheating in the name of God. And deep down I said to myself, Ya Allah, how do I stop that bomb? How do I stop the next bomb? How do I save that innocent young boy? He's in his 20s. This young boy, I met him in his 20s. Received the gift, opened up the box, and it blew on his face. And 2 people died and 10 people injured. It was one of those low impact bombs, but it still killed him. And something told me, Hassanain, you're going to wise today? That's the heart. The reason these people are blowing bombs is because there's too much jahiliyyah. There's too much ignorance. Work on these institutions. Build them. Bring next generations of educated people so that this is stopped. Inshallah, we will succeed. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma inna narghabu ilayka fi dawlatin karima tu'izzu biha al-Islam wa ahla wa tudhillu biha al-nifaq wa ahla wa taj'aluna fiha min ad-du'ati ila ta'atik wal qadati ila sabilik وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.